stream setup. Wait for the things to connect. It's always such a
Indeed.
terrible. Indeed. Here we go. And then that's kicking live on Facebook. Well, cool. Awesome. Well, we're live all over the internet. We're big now. Well, if anyone doesn't know who Mark is, Mark Barger of Certified Pro Detailers and his own personal detail shop of Visual Pro Detailing has kind of been on a good kick of like, why are people making stuff way too complicated on their websites or their pitch or their sales? And I asked Mark to come on just because I see Mark always spinning and testing the wheels and winging it. And Mark, especially, you've kind of been on like this kick for the past like 30 days of like, I saw it. You basically kind of rewiped your website a little bit. And you said, basically, hey, I'm going to do away with the old. And you said, let's just refine this down to the most simplest offer. And I think it probably it came out of you're thinking you were just making it too complicated of your ceramic coating offer.
That's part of it. I've actually been on a kick for this for about a year and a half, but I've really done some studying in other industries, our industry, etc. before I really got in there and was like, man, I'm gonna send this and I'm gonna see what the results are, what the data tells me. And I'm usually booked out a couple months, but I'm currently booked out over 120 days with almost all just my primary offer. And what I found through the data, the sales, everything is that simplifying the offer, simplifying everything about my business, making it extremely easy for customers to just understand what they're getting, what they're not getting, what the price point is, all that. I don't want to say it was magic, but it took the sales process almost completely out of my business. I quit selling.
Because you had what, like 3 to 4 different ceramic coating packages at one time?
I started at 3, and then last year I went to 2. And then this year I tried everything I could to make the difference between my more entry-level offering and my top offering. I did everything I could to clarify it, but people were still getting there and just being like, buyer confusion. I mean, you ever want to see buyer confusion and how risk averse people are? Go to an ice cream store and they're giving them like a little itty bitty. They're afraid of paying $6 for an ice cream and getting a flavor they don't like. And it's the same thing with our detailing services. And there's so many detailers I've found because I started after I did this and had great success with it. I turned it into a whole process and started doing with other detailers, other shops. One guy, and one CPD member, like, he was like, I'm willing to try anything. I'm dead slow. I don't have anything going. I'll try anything. Let's do this. And he got like 15 bookings in a week and he was dead just from going from a bunch of different stuff to a super simplified, clarified, basic offer. And he was like, my customers love it. They love it because there's the decisions and am I getting the wrong thing? All that went away.
Yeah. And I think to your point, if you go to Mark's website, which is Visual Pro Detailing, and Mark also teaches this at Certified Pro Detailers, the part of the company that he's with, and kind of has I would almost say it like a marketing editing etiquette and a marketing toolkit that you offer. But you're not just listing, I want to be really clear for people who are watching this, you're not listing like 3-year coating and I do the wheels and I do this. You kind of expand on this offer that you are kind of like consolidating down. And you teach it part of your CPD membership that, anyone can go do. But can you kind of walk through a little bit of behind the curtains of more or less the copywriting that you kind of talk about?
So the first thing that I try to do when it comes to the copywriting is I try to do a disruptive copy. And you're actually looking at it right now. It's a pattern disrupt copy, because let's face it, we all do the same thing. When you go to a website, how much do you really read the wall of text? Why? Because it's usually kind of generic.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Like people just zone out on
Yep.
lists and reading and stuff like that. And
So I did pattern disrupt.
Yep. And
I think you're just basically you're trying to say the things that the customer is thinking.
Yeah, because I noticed on a few of your lines, you're like, I know you usually scroll past this, or you're usually gonna not read the ceramic coating box here. You like will literally put like a disruptive nature to it, but it comes off very personalized to the customer as well.
Well, and I think one of the things that a lot of detailer websites, even if they're beautiful, they're lacking that almost human touch, to where like a real person is communicating to a real person. Because the one thing that plagues the detailing industry, and I looked at hundreds, possibly 1,000 plus detailer websites, anything from roadmap sites to Wix sites to ones that were professionally developed, ones that were one-page landing pages, and most detailers write to other detailers, like they're trying to sell to other detailers, and customers don't think like that. If you think about this, most detailers get most of their new customers are come from either referrals or extremely high intent buyers.
Yep.
And we're not getting actual new customers from our websites very often, because it's written for detailers. Our customers know how to sell our services better than we do.
Right. And sometimes they don't even know, right? I mean, how long has ceramic coating's been around? 10 plus years. And so you're still walking into people who don't know what it is, but they think they need it because they've been told by other people they need it, or they've had it before and they don't know what it did, but it helped them, and I think to your point is like, I think a lot of times the language on people's packages have gotten too like list heavy almost, or like, this is the service I do and da 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 da, and this is the durability of it and XYZ. People just don't, still, it's 2025 and people still don't know what ceramic coatings are,
Well, if you listen to your customers, for those of you out there watching this that actually own detailing business, if you listen to your customers, there's all these beautiful cues in what they tell you. Like, I had a guy call me up a couple weeks ago, and he said, I'm going to get this ceramic coating because this lady I work with got the ceramic coating and her car always looks beautiful. And she said, listen, she sold him the ceramic coating. She said she doesn't have to wax it. It's super easy to get the bugs off, and it's extremely shiny, and it stays clean longer. She sold him with a very simple, practical She didn't talk about 9H hardness. She didn't talk about years of durability. She didn't talk about UV protection or decontamination. None of that.
Yeah. I mean, they just want, and they'll all sell themselves their own feature if you give them that, right? So to her, maybe bugs is important, but none of them, I think a lot of people are just kind of making stuff more complicated than what it really, really needs to be. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a fire sale. It just has to kind of be maybe potentially not only dumbed down, like what you have a very disruptive way of kind of showing how to people to copyright. So Mark's not just taking something, writing a block of disruptive copy and calling it a day. It's kind of integrated in your pitch that you teach as well. But maybe potentially not, showcasing 4 or 5 different coatings, right? Because at the end of the day, it's probably going to just come to you and ask what you think is best for how they told you they wash their car, maintain their car, or drive their car, right?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of detailers are selling services they don't even really believe in. And you're going to have a hard time having confidence in it if you don't believe in it. So I always, whenever I do the one-on-one coaching, or I get emails from CPD members and they're going through this process, I simply ask them, if you bought a brand new car, what would you do to your own brand new car? And you give me the answer. Oh, it'd be my tier 3 package. And it's like, let me guess. That's what you sell 8 times out of 10 to your customers. Well, yeah. I'm like, well, why do you have these other packages here? Why are you even selling them? Because I come from a retail background
Yeah.
before I got into the detailing industry, and they call it a dead shelf. And I had a no movement list that I had to go through every week. And if the product wasn't selling, we either re-merchandise it or we clearanced it and we completely got rid of it. And detailers need to do that as well. If you have something that's absolutely not selling, you either change the wrapping paper on it and you make it more attractive so people can buy it, or it tells you something that it's not viable, it's not valuable enough to your customers, and you scrap it. And and I don't want to say that for every detailer, good, better, best is wrong. But what I will say is that I have yet to run into an example of a detailer who can, through data, actually show me that good, better, best is better than just a primary offer all by itself, just a primary gangbuster, this is what we do offer, or a primary offer followed by a secondary entry level offer. I've yet to see anyone show me that good, better, best is better than that.
Yeah, and I would say kind of just going back to that data thing, exactly what you just brought up, and I see people all the time there seems to be two categories that people either overcomplicate and change stuff a lot of times, or they never touch their
Mhm.
packages or their website. And I think you've always been a great proponent, and why I personally, if I can just self-populate myself, is like I just love the basicness of the dashboard that can immediately tell you if you're getting more engagement or you're not getting more engagement within a quick look on the platform that we use. Is that you'll be able to tell, hey, did consolidating down into one simplified disruptive package work for me, and literally sit on it for 30 days.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen overnight, ain't going to happen in 7 days. Sit on it for 30 days of what happens with your website and change it, and then analyze the data. And if you can, ideally, you would look back at the prior year, not the
Yeah.
prior month.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, what we're running into though is that if you're a detailer and you, I hear this a lot. I'm sure you do too. I've been raking money into ads and I'm not getting any results from it. I need a new ad company. Wait a second. Well, hit the brakes first. Maybe it's not the ads. Maybe it's what you're selling that's actually the issue. Because I had one guy and he's like, I ran this Facebook ad and I got 273 clicks, but no leads. Why did it good? If it got you 273 clicks for like $150 or whatever you put on it, the ad did what it was supposed to do, which was get you attention and get someone to show interest and bring them down that buying process. What
yep.
happened is they weren't interested in your offer, or there were aspects of your offer that they didn't cling on to. So don't throw the ad under the bus. And like you said, when detailers, they don't ever touch their offers. It's like, well, that should be the first thing you're looking to is what I'm selling, is it good enough for people to buy? Or maybe not good enough from a quality perspective, is it communicated well enough so that the customer can figure it out?
Yeah, and I would kind of just even to strike back on that and add to it a little bit. It is not enough to just simply exist and offer the services. There's a lot of detailed business owners, whether they offer even PPF and tint and ceramic coating, that, well, I offer it and I'm here and I have a shop and that should be enough to engage. And at the end of the day, people want to do business with someone who can make the most concerted and valued effort that's easy to understand, easy to communicate with, and say, these guys are easy to deal with at the end of the day, and they're offering something I want. You just can't. That's why we used to build, we build sites, and we don't like putting the packages almost always at the top with a fucking billboard of a price, because at the end of the day, that's just a shelf. And you better hope that someone knows what they're looking for, which in our world, that's not it. We're not plumbers, that you can't say I need a leak fixed, call the plumber. It's easy as day, right? So
absolutely.
And you teach a lot of
believer. I'm a true believer that they need to find your offer, even if you list pricing, you don't list pricing, whatever. They need to be able to find your offer within 5 seconds of going to your website.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of pitch that as well into the homepage. I think you've said before, you pitch it within, a partial scroll right on the ceramic coating page. You don't really dip it down way at the bottom and let people kind of dive and search, right? So, I mean, it's the same thing we preach, is like people want to just get in and get out. I don't even remember what website I looked at 5 seconds ago, let alone, 20 minutes ago. So, and you teach this process, right? I mean, if somebody was like, hey, I've got a site, whether it's roadmap or not a roadmap site, doesn't matter, but you kind of teach this process for yourselves, right?
Yeah. I mean, it actually, like, it, even if you have a roadmap site, that is fantastic. But you can see my disruptive copy here.
I was gonna say, is this disruptive copy right here?
But I actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full video lessons on this, including a couple of one-on-one phone calls I did with detailers, where we step by step on the phone with them went through there. And like, if you could have a roadmap site, you could have a Wix site, you could have what I recommend for a bunch of new detailers that don't have the money, create a 1-page landing page that's super simple. I mean, if you're a new detailer, you're new to the industry, and you have 3 coating packages and 4 detail packages and 6 interior packages and 17 upsells, that's crazy. Have 1 detail, have 1 interior, have 1 ceramic coating package, brand it like crazy, get super well known in your local market for selling 3 things. I have a friend that he's former military, he's getting out of the first responder business, and he's like, I'm restarting my detailing business. I said, come up to my shop. He lives an hour and a half away. He showed up at my shop, and I said, guess what? We're going to do this for you. You're going to sell 2 things. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, you're going to sell a detail package, and you're going to sell 1 ceramic coating, and that's it. And if you get established and you want to go beyond that, that's fine. But we're going to make it so simple that people can, within 30 seconds, find out exactly what you're about. And he's working on building it right now.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if Amazon made you call for every product to order, or you had to watch a 3-minute video of what the product was before you understood that you buy it now? You'd lose your freaking mind.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the year 2025, and if it's your business model and it's working for you and you're making money, go for it, brother. No holds barred. But you have to come physically to my shop, get an inspection just to get an idea of what it costs to do business with me. I mean, you're losing just on the convenience factor. You're losing so much money on that. It is unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's watching this, we're kind of really preaching simplification, getting disruptive, right? Potentially with the copy, disruptive with your messaging. And you'll find out at the end of the day, what people really want to hear from Mark, and what we see is that, like, you're selling more, right? Like, you're getting an easier customer who has less objections, and the qualifications coming in higher, and you're converting higher, right? At the end of the day, it's shortening a lot of things down.
I came up with this cool saying. It came fresh out of my brain somewhere, but with simplification of your business and simplification and clarification of your offer, you're going to get your customers to a yes or a no. That's what we want. We want, and a no is cool. I live between two cornfields in a very rural area. I'm near no population center. A lot of people are going to see that offer and go, no, that's too much. That's more than I expected. I'm great with that. You want a yes or a no, but what we've got to end in the detailing industry is I don't know. That's the last thing you want someone who back clicks off your website to say. Either I want it or I don't want it, but you don't want them to go there and be like so confused. There's so much to choose from that they say, I don't know. And that's the reason that they back out.
Yeah, that's just buyer confusion. You lost the sale essentially. Spend more time trying to crawl them back, So
Yep.
if people were interested in kind of this guidance or this mentorship or this kind of like copywriting, scenario, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, or if they were interested in learning more?
Listen, you can go and you can go to certifiedprofessionaldetailers.com. You can sign up. It takes about 5 minutes. The whole private Facebook group, we've got a little over 130 instructional videos. Almost all of them are specifically towards marketing, advertising, copywriting. We've got a whole section called Fully Booked, which is copywriting for playbook, copywriting for playbook for auto detailers, that has all of these clarity lessons in it. And I've scratched the surface. There's like 15 reasons why people don't buy your offer, and I've created the content for one of them so far, but clarity is the most important one. If you have any specific questions, but you don't want to join CPD, and hey, I'm all about the new detailers that money is tight, but you just want to ask a couple questions, send me an email, mark@certifiedprofessionaldetailers.com. I will get back to you. It's not going to be one-on-one coaching, but it's all included here in the system. And I actually have a checklist that people can go through, a 10-point checklist that you can go through. And ironically, most detailers score 8 out of 10 no's on the checklist of is there clarity in their offer. And there's just massive, and most of this is like super low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Like it's easy, simple changes that make your offer more clear and get your customers to yes or no, but not I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's great. And Mark didn't ask me to do this. I asked Mark to come on here because I always see when Mark has great ideas, he's been a fantastic voice for the industry of like what people can do to literally make more money in a lot of times an easier route than getting more complicated. So thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate your time and everything. I know this was super informal, but hopefully some people get some benefit out of it. If you need Mark's information, what's that?
I said, when I get to talk to Chris D, it's like getting a digital hug on a Friday.
Shut up. All right. That's enough. All right. I am done then. That's it.